and welcome to another video of Eternal Gains. This is the channel where I show you how to grow your stack in the most sustainable and most safe way. Speaking of safe, today we talk Curve, Convex and Votium, the dream team. Is it a dream team? We will find out. Let's jump into it. Now, I will just briefly touch on what Curve is, because there's already more than enough videos which explain in detail the mechanics of Curve. I will just, tell you the basics so you understand the rest of the strategy. What we are interested in is how to make money, right? Let me just give you an introduction to Curve. What is Curve? Curve is a swapping platform for stablecoins. Now, this doesn't sound too exciting, right? But the catch is that Curve is specialized in large swaps, okay? If you would swap, for example, 10 million of DAI to USDC, okay? And you would do this on Uniswap or SushiSwap or any of those DEXs, then you would suffer a huge slippage, okay? Slippage simply means because you would usually exchange one DAI for one USDC, right? But because of the slippage, at the end you would get maybe, I don't know, 95 cents or something for one DAI. So if you would do this on a scale like 10 million, then obviously this would be a huge amount. So Curve is mainly the swapping platform, stablecoin swapping platform for companies, for whales, for institutions, this sort of players. The backbone of Curve is those Curve pools, okay? So those Curve pools basically make sure that you can swap those large amounts without too much slippage. I mean, compared to other DEXs, it's really minimal slippage. And also fees are relatively cheap here on Curve. Therefore, you have those pools. And each of those pools, you can see here the volume, right? Of course, offers us also an APR if we would supply liquidity for those pools, okay? Now, this comes in very important later, so keep in mind that those rewards are paid in CRV token. CRV token is simply the native token of Curve, of this platform, of this protocol right here, okay? Now, how we can make money with this in the most efficient way. I will first explain you one way, but the best way, of course, as always, at the end. Now, one way is you could earn those Curve tokens right here by providing liquidity to one of those pools. And then you would come over here and you could lock your CRV tokens for 4 years in this case. And then you would basically convert your Curve to VE Curve tokens, okay? On those VE Curve tokens gives you the right to vote for the next distribution of CRV tokens. What do I mean by that? It is like that. If you are a liquidity pool operator, yeah, if you put a pool here on Curve, there's the so-called factory. So everybody could theoretically just create a pool, okay? And each pool gets this allocation of CRV. This is decided every 2 weeks. There is a vote going on every 2 weeks, which pool shall get how many of this CRV allocations, okay? When you lock up your CRV tokens, you get those VE CRV tokens, which stands for Vote Escrow CRV tokens. And those basically give you the right to vote in this process. And of course, this vote also gives you some goodies, some rewards if you vote. But later more on this point. Important to know for now is that if you have CRV tokens, you can stake them or lock them in this case, if you come over here. And you have different options right here on the time lock. You could just lock it for 1 week. or 4 years, you know, from 1 week to 4 years, and there's options in between. And basically what this means is, as shorter the time period, as less VE CRV you get for your CRV tokens. So if you would lock up your CRVs for 4 years, then you get an exchange rate of 1-to-1, which means one CRV, for one CRV you put in, you get one VE CRV out, okay? And if you do less, then it's less. Then it's, for example, for the shortest ones, maybe 0.2 or something like that, okay? Yes, and this turns, the whole catch is that with this VE CRV tokens, you can take part in those votes. Now, what this means is you would come over here to the DAO, and then you could manually, here you see Gauk weight vote. This is what we are talking about. So you have proposals for future Gauk weights. And this is basically which pool gets how much of the entire distribution of this CRV tokens, okay? And different protocols can basically put in their proposals, and then you can vote for them. Or basically, they put in their pools, and you can vote for their pool. But now comes the catch. And there we go with Convex. What is Convex? Everybody's talking Convex, right? What is it? What does it do? It's actually a brilliant addition to Curve. It is built on top of Curve, and it's built around this voting process right here, okay? So you could come over here and just manually vote and get some rewards for that, okay? So you would need to come here every 2 weeks and vote manually. What else you could do is you could come over here to Convex. Now, important to know is that one CVX, which is the token of Convex, controls 4 CRV tokens, okay? So buying one CVX basically is the same as buying 4 CRV tokens, okay? So this is number one. Number two, this is the first really, like, you know, innovative addition on Convex, is that in order to take part in this votes, as I said before, you have to lock your tokens, and ideally you would lock it for 4 years to get the 1-to-1 ratio. But what you can do here is you can convert CRV to CVX CRV. By staking CVX CRV, you are earning the usual rewards from VE CRV, okay, the governance fees and so on, and any airdrops, plus a share of 10% of the Convex LP boosted CRV earnings and CVX tokens on top of that, okay? So what this means is, when you come over here and convert your CRV to the CVX CRV, then you have the exact same benefits what you would have by locking your CRV over here, but this CVX CRV is a liquid token, which means you can trade it, okay? So you have the same benefits like locking it for 4 years, but you are not locking it for 4 years. I mean, I think this advantage is pretty obvious. Now, important to note is that you cannot reverse this conversion, okay? You can only convert from CRV to CVX CRV, but not the other way around. But still, there's a secondary market for CVX CRV, so you could trade these tokens on the secondary market to get out of your position, which is pretty sweet. Now, this is basically one way to earn this CVX tokens, and especially to have the same benefits like locking your tokens without locking your tokens, which is pretty cool. Another way to earn some CVX tokens is if you come over here and you would provide liquidity to one of those pools, then you get those LP tokens, and you could come over here and stake your LP tokens in Convex, and you would get some CVX for that. So you would earn CVX and the usual rewards what you would also get by staking your curve to the Gauk, okay? So you have different pools, what you can do it with. And then you have also another option. This would be now basically the next step. When you earn some CVX, then you can either come over here and stake your CVX, okay? Therefore, you just earn platform revenue, and this is distributed as CVX CRV. But you can also, and this is actually exactly the option, the strategy what we are talking about today, because this is basically really the brilliance about CVX. You can come over here and lock your CVX. Now, CVX tokens, you can either earn them, farm them, or you can just buy them on a DEX like Uniswap, SushiSwap, or whatever. So what you can do is you can lock your CVX tokens, okay? Now this is brilliant because it gives you the voting rights, what you would get here with this VECRV. So you get the voting rights, okay? And you can get an automatic voting, okay? How? By using Votium, which is number 3 in our trio. What is Votium? When you locked up your CVX in here for 16 weeks and 6 days, okay, then it gives you the voting rights, and you can delegate your votes to another platform or to another protocol, okay? And in this case, we would want to delegate our voting power to Votium. Why Votium? What Votium does, if you come over here on this icon, it brings you to the basically statistics page of Votium. And how this works is that basically before each vote, so if you look here at the weights again, then you can see the different weights, right? So which pool has how much weights of the distribution. And now every 2 weeks, basically, protocols can bribe users to vote for them, right? Why is this good? Because as bigger the distribution is to their own pool, as more they benefit from it. Because, for example, they can just take some of their treasury or some of their reserves and just provide liquidity for their own token, for example, and then get those free CRV tokens on top of that, which is, of course, brilliant. And it's a nice way for them to earn some extra cash. And if we come here at home, we can look at the current allocations. So as I said, every 2 weeks, those allocations are reset, like re-decided, basically. Okay, so if we look, for example, here at the last round, okay, which is finished, then you see that Frax and Mim paid the most of the bribes, okay? And you as a user, you get those bribes by voting for those pools. Now you can do this manually, as I said, or you can just use Votium, which will do it automatically for you, which is very convenient. So you don't have to do it manually. And you earn those nice rewards from here. Plus you get those extra incentives from the voting. Now, if you look at the last round, then you see Frax and Mim paid the most. And if you come to the current weights, then you see Mim and Frax have the biggest shares. Most probably because they bribed the user the hardest, right? Makes sense. So the whole deal is basically that you delegate your voting power to Votium. They do the whole voting process for you. And then you can claim your rewards. And those rewards are usually paid in the native tokens of those protocols. So for example, Frax will offer 2.48 million in Frax tokens. That's what they offered in the last round. If you go to the current round is not yet finished. So if we come over here to Votium, you will see there's still 2 days and 21 hours of time for protocols to post their offers, so to speak. So the protocols come over here, excuse me, and they can say, okay, I put up so many rewards for users to vote for my protocol, for my pool, yeah? And right now we can see that we have this 3 protocols which are actively have put up some bribes, okay? So it's OGN and it's Angel, okay? It's the same like here, OGN and Angel. So they have a total reward of that many OGN, this much, and this is the USD value. Now, usually it's gonna be at the end of those 2 days period from now, you will see definitely an increase in protocols. For example, in the last round, you can see there are many, many more. And this is also a little bit a poker between, of course, the protocols. So they want to see, okay, how much does the other one post? You know, how much I have to post to basically outbid them, so to speak. Because obviously, most of the users will vote for the protocol which offers the highest rewards, which makes total sense. Now, the last thing we should touch on most probably is how to delegate your voting power to Votium, right? This is fairly simple. If you come to Votium and you come over here to the docs, yeah, then you come here and you just search for address. And then you will see here, vote proxy delegation address. So this address right here. So all you have to do is copy this address, come over here to Votium, come over here to Convex and put the delegation address in here. Then you press delegate to confirm. Basically, it's not a transaction, it's just a signature. So you sign the transaction. It's not a transfer. You still keep your the locked coins and everything. So it's just a signature. You sign, and from this point onwards, basically delegated your voting power to Votium, and Votium will vote for you. Now, there's one thing: when you delegated your votes to Votium, then you can enter the dashboard. Right now, on this address, I don't have anything delegated to them, so I cannot demonstrate this right now, but I just tell you that it exists. Because when you just delegate your voting power to Votium, then they basically will vote, it's not necessarily they vote only on one protocol or on one proposal, but maybe they vote on 3 or something. So they split your voting power between 3 protocols. For us, this is not ideal, because this means after a vote, we will have a lot of small amounts from different tokens, right? And since all of this is on Ethereum, claiming those rewards is sometimes a bit pricey. So you don't want to have scattered rewards. The best what you can do is to vote for 1 or 2. And as soon as you delegated your voting power, you will be able to choose basically on which proposals Votium should vote in your name, so to speak. Yeah. And it definitely makes sense to vote always for the ones which pay the most, obviously, but also to make sure that you are voting maybe not more than 2 different protocols, just to make sure that your rewards are concentrated and the claiming process is worth it. Okay. All right, guys. I hope this helped. It's a very complex topic, I know, but I hope I could bring you this topic a bit closer. If you liked it, then leave me a comment, share it out with your friends. If you have any questions about the topic, just leave me a comment, and see you in the next one.